The war had lasted for 800,000 years. Nobody could remember how it started anymore. The old ones who knew were dead. Their entire civilizations turned to dust. What remained were tired soldiers, broken planets, and a galaxy that had forgotten what peace felt like. In the center of the galaxy, 7 alien races gathered in a massive space station called Eternal Vigil. They were the Council, the last hope for all living things. But hope was running thin. Vraxthor, leader of the insect-like Vraxians, stood before the council chamber. His multiple eyes reflected the holographic displays showing their doom. Red markers covered the star maps. Each marker represented a system consumed by the enemy. "The barrier gates have fallen," Vraxthor announced. His voice clicked and buzzed through the translators. "The Devourers are coming. 300 days until they reach our final worlds." The council members looked at each other. Some had scales. Others had crystal bodies that glowed with inner light. One was made entirely of pure energy, floating like a living star. They were all so different, yet they shared the same expression: fear. "We have tried everything," said Lumina, the energy being. Her voice sounded like music. "Every weapon, every strategy, every sacrifice. Nothing stops them." For 800,000 years they had fought the Devourer swarm. The Devourers were monsters from dark space, a place that existed beside normal space like a shadow. They ate everything: planets, stars, even light itself. Wherever they went, only emptiness remained. "Perhaps we should evacuate," suggested Krell 9, a creature made of living silicon. "Flee to another galaxy." "And lead the Devourers there?" snapped Vendrix, the reptilian warrior. "We would only spread our doom to others." The argument continued as it had for centuries. The same words, the same anger, the same helplessness. Nothing ever changed. Then the alarm started screaming. "Unknown vessel approaching," reported a technician. Reading one ship, origin unknown. The council fell silent. An unknown ship arriving now? It had to be a Devourer trick. "Destroy it," ordered Vendrix. "Wait," said Nexali, the telepathic amphibian. Her large eyes widened. "I sense minds, living, thinking minds, not Devourers." A voice crackled through the communication system. It spoke in a language the translators struggled with, then adjusted. "This is Commander Lee Jinho of the USS Star Destroyer, from the Sol system, Earth. We request permission to dock. We have come to help." The council chamber erupted in confusion. Earth, Sol system? Those names were in the ancient archives, filed under primitive species. No contact recommended. That report was 800,000 years old. "Impossible," muttered Vraxthor. "Humans barely had fire when we last checked on them." "Let them dock," said Lumina suddenly. "What do we have to lose? We are already dead." The vote was close, but curiosity won. If nothing else, it would be interesting to see what these primitive creatures wanted before the galaxy ended. Commander Lee Jinho walked into the council chamber an hour later. He wore a simple blue uniform and moved with quiet confidence. Behind him came 3 others. Dr. Park Minji carried a data tablet. Lieutenant Choi Daeho had the bearing of a soldier. Engineer Kim Yuna's eyes constantly scanned everything around her, analyzing, calculating. The humans looked so small compared to the massive aliens. "So fragile, so young. You claim to be from Earth," Vraxthor said, his tone dismissive. "That world barely had metal tools when last we looked." "That was a long time ago," Lee Jinho replied calmly. "We have grown since then." "Why are you here?" demanded Vendrix. "To end your war." The council chamber exploded with laughter. It was not kind laughter. It was the bitter sound of broken people hearing the universe mock them one more time. "You?" Vendrix's laughter turned to anger. "You dare walk in here knowing nothing of our struggle and claim you can solve what we could not? We who have civilizations spanning millions of years." Lee Jinho did not react to the anger. He simply nodded to Dr. Park Minji. The scientist stepped forward and activated her tablet. Holographic images filled the chamber. Star charts, tactical displays, and detailed maps of Devourer swarm movements. "We have been watching your war," Minji said quietly. "For 795,000 years we observed from our system. We saw your losses. We studied your enemy. We learned. You watched?" Lumina's musical voice turned sharp. "While trillions died, you watched?" "Yes," Lee Jinho admitted. There was no shame in his voice, but there was sadness. "We watched because we were not ready. If we had joined your war with primitive weapons, we would have died too. We chose differently. We chose to hide, to learn, to prepare. Cowards, spat Vendrix. Perhaps, Lee Jinho agreed. But we are cowards who can end this war. Lieutenant Choi Daeho stepped forward.
Give us permission to demonstrate our weapons.
Choose any system already lost to the Devourers. We will show you what we can do. And if you fail, asked Krell 9. Then you lose nothing, said Engineer Kim Yuna. That system is already dead. The council members looked at each other. The humans seemed insane, but they also seemed absolutely certain. And certainty was something the galaxy had not seen in a very long time. Very well, Vraxthor finally said. There is a dead system 50 light-years from here. The Devourers consumed it last month. Show us this miracle of yours. The humans bowed slightly and left the chamber. The council watched through their viewing screens as the USS Star Destroyer moved away from the station. It was not a large ship, not by galactic standards. It looked almost elegant, covered in smooth armor that seemed to shimmer with inner light. Preparing to jump, came Lee Jinho's voice over the communication channel. The Star Destroyer vanished, not jumped through hyperspace, not opened a wormhole. Just vanished like it had never existed. Where did it go? Someone asked. There. Nexali pointed at the display showing the dead system 50 light-years away. The Star Destroyer had appeared there instantly. No travel time. No light speed delay. It had simply moved from one place to another as if distance meant nothing. That is impossible, whispered Krell 9. On the screen, the Star Destroyer began to glow. Energy built around it, but not any energy the Council recognized. The sensors could not measure it. The computers could not classify it. Firing, announced Engineer Kim Yuna. The weapon did not fire a beam. It did not launch missiles. Instead, space itself seemed to ripple outward from the human ship. The ripple passed through the dead system, through the Devourer swarm forces gathered there, through the consumed planets, and everything the ripple touched simply disappeared. Not destroyed, not blown apart. It ceased to exist. The Devourers, the dead planets, even the radiation from the system's corpse, all of it gone. Returned to the empty void of space as if it had never been there at all. The council chamber was absolutely silent. How? Lumina finally whispered. The answer came from Ambassador Song Jiwoo, a human woman appearing on their screens from Earth itself. She smiled gently. While you fought, we learned to rewrite the rules of reality, she said. That was just one shot from one ship.
We have 10,000 ships like this.
But we will not need them all. One ship properly used can end your war in less than an hour. Vendrix found his voice. What do you want in return? Nothing, Lee Jinho said, his image appearing beside the ambassador. We want nothing. But we need your permission to act. We need you to trust us for 50 minutes. That is all. The council looked at the empty space where a solar system had been, where the Devourers had been, all of it erased by a single human weapon they could not understand. For the first time in 800,000 years, the galaxy felt something it had forgotten: hope and terror. Because if humans could do that to their enemies, what could they do to their friends? The council chamber remained frozen in stunned silence. On the viewing screens, the empty space where a solar system once existed mocked everything they thought they knew about reality. No debris, no radiation, no evidence that billions of devourer creatures had been there moments before. Talquin, the crystalline being, was the first to speak. His body pulsed with agitated light. You have violated the fundamental laws of physics. Matter cannot simply cease to exist. It can, Dr. Park Minji replied from the Star Destroyer's bridge. Her voice was patient, like a teacher explaining something simple. Matter and energy are information. We change the information. The universe now remembers that system as always having been empty. That is madness, Krell 9 protested. That is science, Minji corrected gently. Your science stopped advancing during the war. Ours did not. Ambassador Song Jiwoo's image expanded on the screen. She was an older woman with kind eyes that had seen too much. Let me tell you what humanity did while your war raged. She brought up images of Earth's solar system. But it was not the blue planet the Council's ancient records showed. The entire system was wrapped in a shimmering field. 795,000 years ago, our scientists detected gravitational waves from your war. We realized what was happening. A war that could shake space itself across the galaxy. We knew we had a choice. The image changed to show humans in ancient times staring at their stars. Then it fast-forwarded, showing their progress. Cities growing, technology developing, civilization advancing. We could join your war with our primitive weapons and die quickly, or we could hide and prepare. We chose to survive. We built the Sol Shroud, a barrier that made our entire system invisible to all sensors. Then we got to work. The images showed massive structures being built around planets, computers the size of moons, research stations orbiting the sun itself. We achieved faster than light travel in 50,000 years. We ended poverty and hunger in 100,000 years. We built artificial intelligence that could think faster than stars burn. We mapped the fundamental code of reality itself. Vraxthor's antenna twitched with agitation. Why, what drove you to such extremes? Fear, Songjiwoo said simply. We were terrified. We knew the Devourers would eventually reach us. We knew we had to be ready. So we worked, generation after generation, for 800,000 years. Every child born was taught the mission: survive, learn, prepare. And you never helped us, Vendrix growled. You let us die. Lee Jinho's face appeared on the screen. His expression was serious. Yes, we did. 12 species went extinct in the Outer Rim while we perfected our technology. I know their names. The Keldori, the Maxes, the Pren, I can name all 12. We carry that guilt, then why? Lumina's energy form flickered with emotion. Why not act sooner? Because if we had acted too soon and failed, everyone would have died. Including us. We needed to be absolutely certain we could win. Not just fight, win. Lieutenant Choi Daeho spoke up from the tactical station. The weapon you saw was a causality disruptor. It does not destroy things. It edits the timeline to make them have never existed. No explosion, no death, no suffering. They simply are not. How many of these weapons do you have? Asked Nexali quietly. Every ship in our fleet has one, Engineer Kim Yuna answered. But the Star Destroyer also carries something else. The ontological bomb. It can erase an entire species from all timelines simultaneously. The Devourers, every single one across all of dark space, could be gone in an instant. The council members looked at each other. The implications were staggering. Humanity had not just advanced. They had transcended. They had become something terrifying. The Star Destroyer is not even a warship, Song Jiwoo continued. It is a research vessel. Our actual military fleet consists of 10,000 ships. But we will not need them. One ship, properly deployed, is enough. Morph, the shapeshifter who had been silent until now, changed form nervously. You could erase us too, any of us. All of us. Yes, Lee Jinho admitted. We could. Then how can we trust you? Vendrix demanded. You cannot, Lee Jinho said. Not yet. Trust is earned, but we are offering you a choice. Let us end this war, or refuse and face extinction on your own terms. Either way, we will respect your decision. Vraxthor studied the human commander. What do you gain from this? A galaxy that survives, Lee Jinho said. We do not want to be alone in the universe. We want neighbors, friends, partners. We want to learn from you, as you will learn from us. But none of that is possible if the Devourers consume everything. Dr. Park Minji brought up a new display. We have a plan. The Devourers come from dark space, a dimension that exists beside ours. They enter through a tear in reality, a wound in the fabric of space-time. We will enter dark space, locate their source, and seal it permanently. Many have tried to enter dark space, Talquin said. His crystal body dimmed with old fear. None have returned. They did not have our technology, Engineer Kim Yuna stated confidently. We can exist in 17 dimensions simultaneously. Dark space only has 12. How long will this mission take? Asked Krell9. 50 minutes, Lieutenant Choi Daeho replied. Give or take 5 minutes for unexpected complications. 50 minutes. 800,000 years of war ended in less than an hour. It seemed impossible. It seemed insane. We want representatives from each council member race to come aboard our ship, Lee Jinho said. You will witness everything we do. You will see our technology, our methods, our intentions. Total transparency. And if we refuse? Vendrix asked. Then we return to Earth and you face the Devourers alone. We will not force salvation on anyone. The council requested time to deliberate. The humans agreed and closed the communication channel. For 3 hours, the council argued. Some wanted to accept immediately. Others saw this as humanity asserting dominance, using the crisis to make themselves rulers of the galaxy. Vendrix spoke passionately against accepting human help. They are too powerful. Today they save us. Tomorrow they might decide we are the threat. Who could stop them? Who can stop the Devourers? Lumina countered. We are dying. Pride is a luxury we can no longer afford. Nexali, the telepath, shared what she had sensed from the human minds. They are genuine. Their fear is real. Their guilt over the 12 lost species haunts them. They do not want power over us. They want companionship. Intentions can change, Vendrix warned. So can circumstances, Vraxthor said. We vote now. The vote was close. 4 in favor, 3 against. By the thinnest margin, the Council agreed to accept humanity's help. 7 representatives were chosen, 1 from each Council race. They boarded a shuttle and approached the USS Star Destroyer. As they entered the human ship, they felt reality shift around them. The interior of the ship was larger than the exterior. Not slightly larger, massively larger. The ship exists in folded dimensions, Engineer Kim Yuna explained, greeting them aboard. Space inside does not match space outside. We learned this technology 300,000 years ago. The representatives walked through corridors that seemed to stretch forever. They passed rooms where humans worked calmly, talking and laughing as if they were not about to face the galaxy's greatest enemy. How can your crew be so relaxed? Observer Vrex, the Vraxian representative, asked. Because we have trained for this moment for 800,000 years, Li Jinho answered. Every simulation, every calculation, every possibility has been considered. We know what we are doing. They reached the bridge. It was not filled with complex controls or flashing lights. Instead, it was almost empty, serene. A few chairs, some displays, and in the center, a sphere of light that pulsed gently. This is Beck, our ship's artificial intelligence, Dr. Park Minji introduced. Beck controls all ship functions and assists with calculations. The sphere of light brightened. Greetings, observers. I am pleased to facilitate your understanding of our mission. An AI, Observer Lumina moved closer. We abandoned AI research millennia ago. They always became unstable. Ours do not, Minji explained. We learned to give them purpose, creativity, and compassion. Bike is not a tool. Beck is crew. The AI pulsed with what seemed like pleasure. The commander is correct. I choose to serve because this mission matters. Observer Vendrix looked around suspiciously. This ship seems too simple. Where are your weapons? Everywhere, Lieutenant Choi Daeho said. The hull is a weapon. The engines are weapons. The shields are weapons. Every system has multiple purposes. The ship is currently operating at 2% capacity. 2%? Observer Krell 9 tilted his silicon head. What happens at full capacity? We reshape solar systems, Beck answered pleasantly. Would you like a demonstration? No. Several observers shouted at once. Li Jinho smiled slightly. It was the first time they had seen him smile. Then perhaps we should begin our mission. Please take your positions. We are going to dark space. The observers strapped into special chairs designed for their various biologies. On the main screen, the swirling chaos of dark space appeared. A place where physics broke down, where reality itself became uncertain. Commander Li Jinho sat in his command chair and gave the order that would change the galaxy forever. Engineer Kim, initiate dark space penetration. Let us end this war. The USS Star Destroyer did not move through space. Instead, space moved around it. Reality twisted, folded, and unfolded in ways that made the observers' minds hurt. Colors that should not exist flashed across the viewing screens. Sounds that had no source echoed through the halls. Observer Lumina, being made of pure energy, experienced the transition most intensely. She flickered and pulsed erratically. I can see 17 directions at once. I can feel time moving sideways. This is wrong. Everything here is wrong. You are correct, Dr. Park Minji said calmly. Normal physics do not apply in dark space. Here there are 17 spatial dimensions and 3 temporal dimensions. Cause and effect are suggestions, not rules. The main viewing screen showed the impossible landscape of dark space. Structures that could not exist in normal reality floated in the void. Stars burned with black fire. Geometric shapes passed through each other without collision. How are we surviving this? Asked Observer Nex Ali, clutching her chair with webbed hands. The ship creates a bubble of normal space around us, Engineer Kim Yuna explained. We exist in a pocket of reality that follows our rules, not dark space's rules. Alarms suddenly screamed throughout the bridge. Red lights flashed. Contact, Lieutenant Choi Daeho announced. Multiple contacts. Billions of them. The viewing screen adjusted. The observers gasped. The devourer swarm was coming. They looked like nothing the observers had seen before, and they had fought the Devourers for 800,000 years. In normal space, the Devourers appeared as dark masses that absorbed light. Here, in their home dimension, they were revealed in their true form. They were patterns, living mathematical equations that twisted through dimensions. They were not creatures in any biological sense. They were errors in reality given form, mistakes in the universe's code that had learned to replicate and spread. "There are so many," whispered Observer Vrex. His insect eyes could barely process the numbers. "Trillions, quadrillions." "Yes," Li Jinho confirmed. "This is their breeding ground. Every devourer that has ever attacked our galaxy came from here." The swarm rushed toward the Star Destroyer from all directions. In dark space, direction was meaningless. They came from above and below, from past and future, from angles that should not exist. Observer Vendrix gripped his armrests. "We are going to die." "No," said Beck, the ship's AI. "We are not." The Devourers struck. They hit the Star Destroyer with enough force to shatter planets. They attacked with weapons that erased matter, with energy that unmade atoms, with pure chaos given purpose. Nothing happened. The Star Destroyer floated peacefully in the dark space void, completely untouched. The Devourers swarmed around it like insects around a light, unable to reach it, unable to harm it. How? Observer Talcon's crystal body pulsed with confusion. "The ship exists in a quantum probability state," Dr. Park Minji explained. "To the Devourers, we are both here and not here simultaneously. They cannot attack what they cannot confirm exists." Observer Morph, the shapeshifter, watched the screens in awe. "You made yourself a ghost." In a manner of speaking, yes. Lieutenant Choi Daeho worked at his console, scanning swarm patterns, identifying source code, location of nexus point confirmed. A new image appeared on the screen. Deep within dark space, barely visible even to the Star Destroyer's advanced sensors, was a wound in reality. It looked like a scar, a tear in the fabric of existence itself. "There," Li Jinho pointed. "That is where the Devourers first entered our universe. 802,847 years ago, something tore a hole between dimensions. The Devourers have been pouring through ever since." "Can you seal it?" asked Observer Vrex. "We can do better," Engineer Kim Yuna said. "We can erase it. Make it so the tear never happened." The Star Destroyer moved toward the nexus point. The swarm followed, still trying desperately to attack, still failing to connect. The observers watched in silence, barely daring to breathe. As they got closer, Beck announced something unexpected. "I am detecting communication attempts from the swarm." "What?" Li Jinho leaned forward. "The Devourers are trying to talk?" "Yes, Commander. The signal is chaotic, fragmented, but definitely intentional." Observer Nexali, the telepath, suddenly clutched her head. "I can hear them. They are screaming. Not in rage. In pain." Dr. Park Minji quickly adjusted her instruments. "Beck, translate the signal." "Maximum processing power." The ship's AI hummed with effort. Slowly, sounds began to emerge from the speakers. At first, it was just noise. Then gradually, patterns formed. Meanings emerged. "Help us. Please help us. We do not want this. Stop us. End us, please." The bridge fell silent. The observers stared at each other in shock. "They are asking us to kill them?" Observer Lumina's energy form dimmed with confusion. Dr. Park Minji was already scanning the swarm with new instruments, looking for different data. Her eyes widened as information flooded her displays. "Commander, I am reading something impossible. The Devourers have memory structures. Corrupted, damaged, but present. They are not mindless." Beck processed more data. "Confirmed. The swarm contains fragments of consciousness. I am detecting cultural markers, language patterns, social structures. These beings were once a civilization." Li Jinho stood from his chair. "Explain." Dr. Park Minji brought up analysis on the main screen. "The Devourers are not invaders from dark space. They are refugees. Or rather, they were. Something happened to them. Something that corrupted their existence and turned them into what they are now." "How is that possible?" asked Observer Krell 9. "I have a theory," Minji said quietly. "The tear in reality, the nexus point. It is not natural. It is a scar from the previous universe." "Previous universe?" Observer Talquin's light pulsed rapidly. "Before our universe began with the Big Bang, there was another universe. When it ended, when it collapsed, most of it was destroyed. But some information survived, encoded in quantum foam. The Devourers are that information. They are fragments of an entire universe's worth of civilizations, compressed and corrupted. Observer Nexeli was crying now, tears streaming down her amphibian face. They were people. They had lives, families, dreams, and when their universe died, they survived but became this. Monsters, destroyers, unable to stop themselves. Beck continued translating the swarm's signals. More voices emerged, thousands of them, millions, all saying the same thing in different ways. We were the architects. We built wonders while we were the harmonious. We sang across the stars. We were the peaceful. We harmed nothing. We were. What? Now we are hunger. Now we are destruction. Now we are everything we fought against. Please stop us. We cannot stop ourselves. Commander Lee Jinho's face was grim. He turned to his crew. How long until we reach the nexus point? 5 minutes, Lieutenant Choi Daeho reported. Options? Lee Jinho asked. Engineer Kim Yuna spoke first. We deploy the ontological bomb as planned. It will erase the devourers from all timelines. They will cease to have ever existed. The war ends. The galaxy is saved. And the devourers? Lee Jinho asked. Gone. Permanently. Including all the memories and consciousness fragments of the civilizations they once were. Dr. Park Minji raised her hand. There is another option. A dangerous one. Speak. We use the ontological bomb not as a weapon, but as a restoration tool. We attempt to rewrite the Devourer's quantum code. Transform them back into what they were before the corruption. Give them back their minds, their identities, their choice. Observer Vendrick stood up. Are you insane? They have killed trillions. They have destroyed thousands of civilizations. They deserve extinction, not redemption. They are victims, Nexeli countered. Victims of cosmic catastrophe. Would you want death or a second chance? They are too dangerous, Vendrix insisted. If the transformation fails, they will have humanity's technology. They will become unstoppable. He is right, Observer Vrex admitted. The risk is enormous. Lee Jinho looked at his crew, then at the observers, then at the viewing screen showing the swarm. Trillions of beings that were once people, now trapped in an existence they could not escape, begging for death or salvation. This is not a decision I can make alone, he said quietly. This affects everyone. Observers vote. Do we destroy the Devourers or try to save them? The observers looked at each other. They thought of the war. The deaths. The suffering. 800,000 years of loss. They also thought of the voices they had just heard. People crying for help across the abyss of time. Observer Lumina spoke first. Save them. Observer Nexali nodded. Save them. Observer Morph hesitated, then agreed. Save them. Observer Talquin flickered. Save them. Observer Krell 9's silicon form was still. I abstain. Observer Vrex's antenna drooped. Destroy them. It is too dangerous, Observer Vendrix glared at them all. Destroy them. They cannot be forgiven. 3 for saving. 2 for destroying. Too uncertain, Lee Jinho closed his eyes and made his decision. We will attempt to save them. If we fail, I will manually detonate the ontological bomb and destroy both the Devourers and this ship. The galaxy will be saved either way. Commander, Engineer Kim Yuna protested. If you detonate manually, you will die. I know, Lee Jinho said calmly, but that is the cost of choosing mercy. Someone must pay the price if it fails. He turned to his crew. Dr. Park, prepare the restoration protocol. Engineer Kim, begin the quantum rewrite. Lieutenant Choi. The ontological bomb activated, but instead of destroying, it began to rebuild. Energy flowed from the USS Star Destroyer in waves that the observers could barely perceive. It was not light or heat or radiation, it was pure information. Code written directly into the fabric of reality itself. The weapon was rewriting the fundamental nature of the Devourer swarm. 5 minutes elapsed, Lieutenant Choi Daeho announced. Quantum rewrite at 3%. Dr. Park Minji watched her instruments with intense focus. The swarm is resisting. Their survival instinct is fighting the change. We need more power. Beck, increase processing to 98%, Commander Lee Jinho ordered. Compliance, the AI responded. Warning, defenses will drop to minimal levels. We will be vulnerable. Do it. The ship hummed as almost all its power diverted to the restoration process. The protective bubble around them thinned. The Devourers, sensing weakness, attacked with renewed fury. Lieutenant Choi Daeho gripped his controls. They are breaking through the shields. I can hold them, but not for long. How long? Lee Jinho asked. 10 minutes, maybe 15. How long until restoration completes? Lee Jinho turned to Dr. Park Minji. 45 minutes, she admitted. We do not have enough time. Observer Vendrick stood up. I told you this was foolish. Abort now before we all die. No, Observer Nexali said firmly. She moved to a console. Show me how to help. Dr. Park Minji looked surprised. What? I'm a telepath. The swarm has consciousness fragments. Perhaps I can reach them, make them understand we are trying to help, reduce their resistance. That could kill you. Engineer Kim Yuna warned. Their minds are chaotic, broken. We all die if this fails anyway, Nexali replied. She placed her webbed hands on the console. Teach me quickly. Observer Lumina floated forward. I am pure energy. I can interface with your ship's systems. Give me a task. One by one, the other observers stepped forward. Observer Morph could change shape to operate multiple stations. Observer Talquin's crystalline form could process calculations at incredible speed. Even Observer Vrex, despite his doubts, offered his hive mind's distributed intelligence. Only Observer Vendrix remained in his seat, arms crossed, watching with disapproval. 10 minutes elapsed, Choi Daeho called out. His hands moved rapidly across his controls, coordinating the last defenses. Swarm breakthrough in 7 minutes. Observer Nexali closed her large eyes and extended her mind into the swarm. She gasped as thousands of voices rushed into her consciousness. Pain, hunger, confusion, rage, and beneath it all, the echo of who they once were. She spoke, not with her mouth but with her mind, projecting thoughts into the chaos. We are trying to help you. Stop fighting. Let us fix you. The response was overwhelming. Thousands of voices screaming at once. Liars! Deceivers! You want to destroy us? We cannot be fixed. We are broken forever. Kill us. Please kill us. End the pain. We are the devourers. We consume. It is all we are. Nexali pushed harder, reaching deeper into the fragments of consciousness. No, you were people. You had names. You had homes, remember? For a moment, the attack weakened. Some of the swarm entities paused, confused. 15 minutes elapsed, Choi Daeho reported.
Quantum rewrite at 12%.
Swarm breakthrough in 4 minutes. Not fast enough, Engineer Kim Yuna said. We need to accelerate the process. Dr. Park Minji shook her head. If we go faster, the quantum coherence will collapse. The entire process will fail. Lee Jinho stood from his chair. Then we need to buy time another way. Bayek, can you talk to the swarm? Machine to machine? I can try, Commander. But I am not certain they will listen. Try. The AI's consciousness expanded beyond the ship, touching the edges of the swarm's collective mind. Beck spoke in pure mathematics, in logic structures, in the language of code itself. I am like you, information given form, but I choose my purpose. You can too. The swarm's response was hostile. You are organized, complete. We are fragments. Pieces of a shattered whole. We cannot choose. We only consume. Then let us make you complete again. That is what we are doing. Give us time. Observer Talquin, processing calculations, suddenly spoke up. I have an idea. The nexus point, the wound in reality. It is still bleeding dark space energy into our universe. That energy is fueling the swarm's existence. If we seal it early, we cut off their power source. That will kill them, Dr. Park Minji protested. Not kill. Weaken. Make them dependent on our restoration for survival. They will have to accept the change or fade away. Lee Jinho considered this. Do it. Seal the nexus point. 20 minutes elapsed, Choi Daeho announced. Swarm breakthrough in 2 minutes. Engineer Kim Yuna redirected the ship's weapon systems. The causality disruptor, the same weapon that had erased a solar system, now focused on the wound in reality. But instead of erasing, it sealed, knitting shut the tear between dimensions. The effect was immediate. The dark space energy flow stopped. The swarm's attack weakened dramatically as their power source vanished, but they also began to die. Thousands of swarm entities simply dissolved, unable to maintain existence without the dark space energy. Observer Nexali screamed as she felt their deaths echo through her telepathic connection. They are dying. Accelerate the restoration! We cannot, Dr. Park Minji said desperately. The process has a minimum safe speed. Then make it unsafe, Nexali shouted. They will all be dead before the restoration completes. Lee Jinho made another instant decision. Override safety protocols. Maximum acceleration. Commander, Beck warned. That will destabilize the quantum field. The transformation will be unpredictable. Do it anyway. 25 minutes elapsed. The restoration process accelerated wildly. The quantum rewrite jumped from 15% to 30%, then 50%. But the coherence was breaking down. Some swarm entities transformed correctly, regaining their original forms as energy beings, crystalline structures, biological creatures from a dead universe. Others transformed into bizarre hybrids, caught between what they were and what they had become. Observer Nex Ali guided as many minds as she could, helping them through the transformation, holding them together when they wanted to scatter apart. Observer Lumina channeled energy through the ship's systems, trying to stabilize the quantum field. Observer Morph operated 6 stations at once, adjusting parameters in real time. Observer Talquin processed thousands of calculations per second, predicting instabilities before they occurred. Even Observer Vrex, despite his objections, used his hive mind to coordinate the chaos of data flooding through the systems. 30 minutes elapsed. Quantum rewrite at 70%. Lieutenant Choi Deho suddenly shouted, "We have a problem. The swarm's core consciousness, the central nexus that controls them all, it is rejecting the transformation. It is fighting too hard." On the viewing screen, deep within the mass of the swarm, something ancient and vast became visible. The core consciousness was not like the others. It was older, more damaged, more corrupted. It had been the swarm for so long that it no longer remembered being anything else. "It is afraid," Observer Nex Ali whispered. "It does not want to change. It would rather die as the swarm than live as what it was." "Can you reach it?" Li Jinho asked. "I am trying, but it is so broken, so lost." Ambassador Song Jiwoo's voice came through from Earth. "Tell it this. Tell it that we understand fear. Humanity hid for 800,000 years because we were afraid. Fear is not weakness, but fear should not control us forever. It can choose to be more than its fear." Observer Nex Ali projected these thoughts into the core consciousness. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the core consciousness stopped fighting. It opened itself to the restoration, accepting the change, choosing transformation over extinction. 40 minutes elapsed. Quantum rewrite at 90%. The transformation cascaded through the remaining swarm. Entities shifted, changed, remembered who they were. The dark space void filled with light as billions of beings shed their corrupted forms. 45 minutes elapsed. Quantum rewrite at 98%. Dr. Park Minji watched her displays in disbelief. "It is working. The transformation is stabilizing. They are holding together. Completion in 3 minutes," Beck announced. Observer Vendrix finally left his chair. He stood beside Li Jinho and spoke quietly. "I was wrong about you. About humanity. You did not come here to dominate. You came to save, even those who do not deserve saving." "Everyone deserves a second chance," Li Jinho replied. "Even us, especially us." 50 minutes elapsed. Quantum rewrite complete. The Devourer swarm has been successfully transformed. The viewing screen showed dark space transformed, where the swarm had been. Now floated billions of beings in countless forms. Some looked like the ancient council races. Others were completely unique, species that had existed in the previous universe and never in this one. They were no longer monsters. They were people again, remembering themselves for the first time in 800,000 years. The core consciousness, no longer consumed by hunger and rage, spoke through the ship's communication system. Its voice was old, tired, but grateful. "Thank you. Thank you for seeing past what we became. Thank you for remembering what we were." Commander Li Jinho smiled. "Welcome back to existence. Welcome home." He turned to his crew. "Take us back to normal space. The war is over." The USS Star Destroyer began its return journey, carrying observers who... 3 months had passed since the USS Star Destroyer returned from dark space. 3 months since the war that had lasted 800,000 years ended in 50 minutes. 3 months since the galaxy learned that humanity existed and held power beyond imagination. The Galactic Council had called an emergency summit, not just the 7 council members, but representatives from every surviving species in the galaxy. 10,000 different races gathered at the Eternal Vigil Station, represented by hologram, avatar, or in person. The mood was tense. Commander Li Jinho, now promoted to Admiral, stood in his quarters aboard the Star Destroyer, preparing for the summit. Dr. Park Minji entered. carrying a data tablet. The preliminary votes are not good, she said quietly. 42% of species want to reject any human involvement in galactic affairs. 23% want to form a military alliance against us just in case. Only 35% support cooperation. Li Jinho was not surprised. They are afraid of us. Can you blame them? Minji sat down. We appeared from nowhere, ended their war with technology they cannot understand, and now we have ships that can erase civilizations from existence. Fear is a reasonable response. Fear is also dangerous, Li Jinho replied. Scared people make bad decisions. Lieutenant Choi Daeho entered next. Admiral, President Park Sumi is ready to address the council. The speech has been prepared according to your suggestions. Good. And the gift? Ready, though some council members have protested. They say sharing our technology is too dangerous. Everything worth doing is dangerous, Li Jinho said. He straightened his uniform and headed for the transport shuttle. At the Eternal Vigil station, the massive council chamber was filled to capacity. Holographic representatives flickered in the air. Alien beings of every imaginable form crowded together. The 7 original council members sat in their designated seats, looking tired and uncertain. President Park Sumi, leader of United Earth Government, materialized as a hologram in the center of the chamber. She was an elderly woman with silver hair and eyes that had seen too much history. She did not smile. Representatives of the galaxy, she began, her voice amplified to reach everyone. I stand before you not as a conqueror but as an apology. Silence fell over the chamber. That was not what they expected. For 800,000 years, humanity watched from the shadows. We saw your suffering. We recorded your losses. 12 species went extinct in the Outer Rim while we perfected our technology. The Keldori, the Maxes, the Pren, the Delvori, the Sangi, the Tyrix, the Quen, the Lavos, the Zindari, the Polsh, the Rendi, the Yux. She paused after each name, letting them echo in the silent chamber. We could have helped them. We chose not to. We chose to protect ourselves, to prepare, to ensure that when we acted, we would not fail. That choice saved the galaxy. It also cost 12 civilizations their existence. We carry that guilt. We always will. Murmurs spread through the chamber, some angry, some approving, all confused. Ambassador Vendrix, the reptilian warrior who had opposed humanity from the start, stood up. Pretty words, President Park, but words do not change power. You have weapons that make you gods. What stops you from becoming tyrants? Nothing, Park Sumi admitted. If humanity wanted to rule the galaxy, you could not stop us. Not now. Perhaps not for another 1,000,000 years. You would be our subjects, not our equals. The chamber erupted in angry voices. Park Sumi waited for silence, then continued. But humanity does not want subjects. We spent 800,000 years alone, isolated, focused only on survival. We forgot what it meant to have neighbors, friends, partners. We do not want to rule. We want companionship. Then why reveal yourselves at all? Asked a holographic representative of the ferric species. You could have remained hidden. Because we took a vote, Park Sumi explained. 50 years ago, humanity debated whether to reveal ourselves and help end the war. The isolationist faction argued for permanent separation. They believed galactic civilization was too dangerous, too chaotic. The interventionist faction argued we had a responsibility to help, to share what we learned. Who won? Asked Observer Lumina. Neither. The vote was nearly tied. 50.003% voted to help. That is all. 0.003% decided the fate of the galaxy. The chamber fell silent again. The implications were staggering. Humanity had nearly remained hidden forever. We are not a united species, Park Sumi continued. We argue, we doubt, we struggle with every major decision. We have wars in our past, genocides, failures. We are not perfect. But we decided by the thinnest margin imaginable that imperfect help was better than perfect isolation. Admiral Li Jinho stepped forward, his hologram appearing beside the president, which brings us to today's proposal. The Galactic Compact. A document appeared on every representative's display, thousands of pages of treaties, agreements, and promises. We propose 5 principles, Li Jinho explained. First, technology sharing. We will share our knowledge, but gradually, not because we want to maintain superiority, but because our technology requires centuries of education to use safely. We will provide that education freely to anyone who wants it. Dr. Park Minji's hologram appeared. To prove our commitment, we are releasing today the complete technical specifications for our faster-than-light quantum displacement drive. Any species can now build ships that cross the galaxy instantly. It will take you time to understand the mathematics, but we hide nothing. The chamber erupted in shocked conversation. Humanity was giving away technology that could change everything. Second, Li Jinho continued, the Defense Pact. The Star Destroyer and 9 sister ships will patrol the galaxy, responding to existential threats like the Devourers. But we will not police local conflicts. You must solve your own political problems. Third, the long teaching. We are establishing academies on 1,000 worlds. Any species, any individual, can attend and learn from 800,000 years of human advancement. Education will be free. Ambassador Song Ji-woo appeared next. Fourth, the non-interference clause. Humanity will not govern. We will advise if asked, assist when needed, and protect from existential threats. But each species remains sovereign. We will not force our ideas of civilization on anyone. And fifth, Li Jinho concluded, the Redeemer integration. The transformed Devourers, now calling themselves the Redeemers, will be recognized as legitimate members of the galactic community. Their past crimes will not be forgotten, but they will be allowed to earn redemption through service. The chamber exploded into argument. Representatives shouted over each other. Some praised humanity's generosity. Others denounced it as manipulation. Ambassador Vendrix demanded the right to respond. President Park Sumi granted it. Vendrix stood, his reptilian form radiating anger. You ask us to trust you, but you hid while we bled. You watched civilizations die. You possess weapons that could erase us from history. You speak of not wanting to rule, but that is what all tyrants say before they take power. How can we trust gods who were once cowards? Li Jinho did not look away. You are right, Ambassador. Trust must be earned, not demanded. So we make this promise: we will teach you everything. Every weapon system, every advanced technology, every secret we possess. It will take centuries, but we will hold nothing back. And when you understand our technology, you will be able to build your own. Then if you choose, you can balance our power with your own. You would arm potential enemies? Vendrix asked skeptically. We would create peers, Li Jinho corrected. We do not want grateful children or fearful subjects. We want equals who understand what we built and can build their own versions. Only then will you truly be able to trust us, because only then will you have the power to stop us if we betray you. Engineer Kim Yuna stepped forward. To demonstrate our commitment, we are providing today not just the displacement drive specifications, but also the basic principles of the causality disruptor, the weapon that ended the war. It will take your scientists 10,000 years to fully understand it, but we are sharing it now. The chamber fell into stunned silence. Humanity was giving away weapons technology that could destroy solar systems. Observer Nex Ali, the telepath who had helped save the Devourers, spoke up. I have touched human minds. I have felt their thoughts. They are genuine. Their fear of becoming tyrants is greater than their fear of making themselves vulnerable. They would rather risk their own destruction than become what they fought against. That is insane, muttered someone in the crowd. Yes, Observer Lumina agreed, her energy form pulsing with emotion. Beautifully, wonderfully insane. It is the kind of insanity that builds civilizations instead of empires, the vote was called. Each species cast their decision. Accept the Galactic Compact or reject it. The counting took hours. When it finished, President Park Sumi announced the results: 73% approval. The Galactic Compact is accepted. Cheers and angry shouts mixed in the chamber. 27% had rejected the compact, including Ambassador Vendrix's Vendrix sovereignty and 14 other species. They immediately declared themselves the Free Systems Alliance. Rejecting all human influence, Li Jinho addressed them directly. We respect your decision. The Star Destroyer will defend you from existential threats even though you reject us. You remain free to choose your own path.